So basically, yeah, with Alex's book, he can basically technically teach you Naginata from scratch without anyone else. But it will be a lot harder because Naginata is designed to be against another person. So you can certainly use it to get the terms down, and they should be at the back of the book. There is a bit of a glossary. Some of those terms you're not going to come across for a while. But you can also go to the VNR website that I built. We do have kind of a glossary there of the more common terms and a few examples, especially when it comes to things like footwork.
Yeah.
So that can also be useful for you too as well. So what I'll do is I will pop that into the Facebook page this afternoon once I've uploaded the video.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll try and make sure everything's available to you if you want it.
Okay, thanks.
That's okay. But yeah, a lot of it, most people never really learn the terms necessarily. Hey Ruben, how you doing? So don't stress about knowing the terms straight up. Don't worry about spelling them. You don't need to worry how to spell any of them until you're doing graphic gradings.
Okay.
So a lot of it is, it's good to know, it's nice to know, but it's things you'll pick up over time. If you have, as you said, a border hakama, I do also have a video on how to fold it, because folding these properly can be a pain. And if you don't fold them properly, then you'll lose the pleats, and they're very hard to get back without ironing them back in. So there are a few videos about, I think Brazil also did one recently, so I might post that one as well, because it's the same technique. But yeah, with the hakama, much harder to fold than the kokogi. The kokogi is the easier one. So yeah. All right. So Effie, did you have any questions this morning to start off with, or Ruben? So Ruben kind of knows the deal already.
Oh, it's been a while.
That's okay.
I've got a mop I'm going to use, but I've also got the saburito, which might be a bit easier because I don't want to hit the ceiling.
Yeah, for a lot of people, just use whatever's handy. So I have Egyptian Naginata here because I don't have my Atarashi one here. But what I've also been doing is demonstrating with this rather lovely broom, which is what most people are using something along the lines of. So for those of you who don't know, Ruben actually has done a little bit of Naginata with me and a few other styles. He does kendo, teaches kendo too. So yes, if you have questions about kendo, ask Ruben. But Effie, did you have any questions this morning to start us off, or nothing has come to mind just yet?
Sorry, just finding the unmute button. No, I'm all good, ready.
All right. Okay, in that case, so what I'll do is I'll just pin myself to hopefully make it a bit easier for you to see me. But again, feel free to ask questions at any point, or if you can't see anything. I do have my leggings on, so if you're having trouble seeing my legs, you now get my blue leggings today. So hopefully that'll give you a little bit more idea with the footwork if you can't see it. So what we've been doing over the past few sessions is a lot of work in what we call hidari-chudan, which is when we have the left hand forward, the right hand back, because that is our standard stance. That's how we normally teach and start. What I want to do today is take you through pretty much the same techniques we've learned, but in Migi-chudan, which is where we have the right hand and right foot forward and the left hand back. So we're getting a bit of a chance to practice all the techniques from the other side. So this will be kind of a little bit of a refresher. So we're taking techniques you already know, but we're switching sides. When it comes to things like hustle, you'll already be fine because we've been doing hustling both sides, but Furiagate is where you'll be finding a little bit different. And with the footwork too, you'll also find that changes things a little bit too. So what we'll do is we'll just do a little bit of a warm up just to make sure everyone's muscles are ready to start. So just give yourself a bit of room. We're going to start from the top down. Just starting with the head. We're just going to put the head to the right shoulder, chin to the chest, ear to the left shoulder, and back to center. And again, round. Right shoulder, chest, left shoulder, center, back the other way. Left shoulder, chest, right shoulder, center, left shoulder, chest, right shoulder, center. We're going to take this a little bit further, so we're warming up our upper body. This time as we go down, we take the right shoulder down as we go that side, so right shoulder, bring the shoulders forward as you come forward, over to the left, so left shoulder's down, and then pull up from that right shoulder. Down to the right, forward, the left, and center. You can start smoothing this out a bit now. So down to the left, forward, to the right, and up and around again, left, forward, to the right, and up. This time we're going to bend the knees a little bit so we can take it a bit further. So it's more down over to the right, so really letting everything flop and stretch. Forward, so you're hanging forward, around to the left, and then pull up from that right shoulder back to center, and again down to the right, flop to the front, to the left, and draw it up. Going back the other way, so let it drop to the left, float to the front, over to the right, pull up by the left shoulder, and again, left, forward, right, and up. Going to roll the shoulders out, so just bring them back behind. You're really trying to get the shoulder blades working, so make as big a circle as you can. Go forwards and backwards. And we're going to come the other way. Going to bring the arm across the body, so keeping the elbow straight, shoulder down, and this is going to stretch across this part of the shoulder here. Just pulling it back towards you gently. And then taking that same up over the head, and try and reach down your spine. This should be warming up your triceps here. And across the other way, so bring that arm over, shoulder down. And up over the head. All right, we're going to start working on our spine and our upper body. We're just going to do gentle rotations around. So your feet are staying where they are. All you're doing is rotating around your spine with your upper body. Now you can let your arms go a little bit further. Let your momentum actually take them around. All right, then we're going to start with the hips. So just some hip circles, as big or as small as you like. Really just trying to warm up the hip flexors. I'm getting a lot of amused looks from people in the cars and walking by, which is always fun. And coming back the other way. Again, let me know if the lighting gets really bad and I will shift the camera. It's just a bit hard outside when the light is not manually controlled. Going to warm up the quads, so just going to pick up the one foot. You're trying to keep the knees together, so you get the stretch up the front of the leg here. And changing sides. And swapping again. And once more. We're going to warm up the hamstrings and Achilles. So both feet facing the same direction, your hips facing that way, both legs straight to begin with. We're going to bend this front knee, keeping both heels on the floor, so the back Achilles here is getting a nice stretch. So just lean it as far as you feel comfortable with. All you're just trying to do is engage that muscle. And then we're gently going to swap, so this one's going to straighten, that one's going to bend. And as we bring this one back, we're going to pull the toes back towards us, again, engaging the muscles behind your calf here. So just in your own time, move it from forwards to back and back again. Continue with that. I'm just going to let Anthony into the room. There we go. So yeah, just engaging those muscles. All right, changing around to the other side. So again, both feet pointing the same direction, both legs straight. Bend the front leg to engage the back Achilles and hamstrings here. And then straighten this one and pull the toes back as the back leg bends. And again, just swap through. You're just gently warming up these muscles. All right, just going to warm up the ankles and the feet. So give them a bit of an ankle roll and the other way. The other foot. And the other way. Now, this is just to warm up the feet. So basically anything that makes your feet feel nice. So pressing them backwards, rolling over the top of the foot, pulling it back, stepping into a bit of a calf raise with it, pushing into it, onto the side. Basically, we're just waking up those muscles. You might just want to stay with the ankle rolls or keep the foot on the ground as you do it to wake it up. And then change to the other foot. All right. Okay. So grab a drink if you need it. I do. Talking makes me very dry out here. So as I said, what we're going to do today is actually try and start working in the other kamae, in Migi-kamae. So I'm going to use the faithful broom. And again, you notice I have this taped up so that you can see, hopefully, what my hands are doing. This indicates the length of the back of my naginata. So my back hand is always going to be over that tape. My front hand is generally going to be here, which is basically shoulder width apart. So these, again, are very useful for you being able to see where the positions are. So we're just going to start with Furiagate. So normally we would start in this position here. We have the right hand at the back and the left hand at the front in Shuda. What we're going to do instead is we're going to step back with our left foot, bring the right hand into center. Then we step forward and bring the left hand back, right hand into the front. Just so you can see a little bit again here. So this is the position we're in now. Right hand at the front, left hand at the back. Just check your distance at the back. So we're just going to start with our walking again. So now you're just going to have to learn to walk from the other side. So we're going to start with the furikaeshi, which is just that basic initial step. So pushing off from the back leg, the left leg, and that pushes us off to extend the front leg and then comes in. So we're always trying to come back in underneath the hips. So furikaeshi-mae, furikaeshi-mae, furikaeshi-mae. We're going to go backwards. Furikaeshi-ato, so pushing from the right leg or the front leg. Furikaeshi-ato, 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 furikaeshi-ato. We're going to do Ayumiyashi, which is that basic 4-step movement. So this one, we have to cross with our left foot, our back foot first. So Ayumiyashi-mae, we step with the left foot across, right foot open, left foot across, right foot open, a little furikaeshi. If we go backwards now, the right foot will go behind us. So Ayumiyashi-ato, right behind, left open, right behind, left open. We'll do that again. Ayumiyashi-mae, left, right, left, right. Ayumiyashi-ato, right behind, left open, right behind, left open. We're going to do Uchikaishi, which is the little skip step. So we bring the back foot in to meet the front foot, and then we do an Uchikaishi. Back foot in, Uchikaishi. To go Uchikaishi-ato, we bring the front foot in, Uchikaishi. We bring the back foot in, front foot in, Uchikaishi. So do Uchikaishi again. So Uchikaishi-mae, Uchikaishi-mae, Uchikaishi-mae. Now we're going to go backwards. So Uchikaishi-ato, bring the front foot in, Uchikaishi-ato, Uchikaishi-ato, Uchikaishi-mae, Uchikaishi-ato, Ayumiyashi-mae, 1, 2, 3, 4, Uchikaishi-ato, ato, 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 Uchikaishi-mae, 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 Uchikaishi-ato, Ayumiyashi-ato, so cross, open, cross, open. Uchikaishi-mae, so that was Uchikaishi. Uchikaishi-mae, Uchikaishi-ato, Uchikaishi-ato, Uchikaishi-mae, 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 Ayumiyashi-ato, behind, forward, behind, cross, open. Uchikaishi-mae, 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 Uchikaishi-ato, Ayumiyashi-ato, behind, open, behind, open. All right. So, just give me a bit of feedback. How are you finding it on the other kamae at the moment?
Is it the Sugiyashi? That's really awkward for me because normally in kendo, can you hear me still?
I can hear you. I'm just changing the gallery so I can see you a bit better.
Okay, cool. It's just the Sugiyashi in kendo, we always lead with whatever front is going forward. So to do the back first is really awkward for me. So I have to try and kick.
Yeah. Basically, the idea is you're getting yourself a little bit of extra distance before you do an Uchikaishi or your basic step. So if you think of it that way, it kind of makes a bit more sense. So with a normal Ukuriashi or forward movement, we're using the back foot to propel ourselves forward, but that only gets you so far. So if I use the garden door behind me as a bit of an example, I'm kind of lined up with the back, my back foot there. If I do Ukuriashi, that's how far away I get from it. If I use Sugiashi, that's how far away I get from it. So Sugiashi is really just a way of providing you a little extra distance, which can be very, very handy, depending on what you're trying to do. So yeah, from a kendo perspective, again, part of that will be the way you're used to your footwork kind of all being forward that way. You're not used to sort of that step in and then push it out again. It does come, but I think it might help for you if you think of it as just trying to gain that little extra distance, sneaky distance in a way. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it does take a while to get used to, especially if you're coming from another form. Anyone else, any comments, thoughts on trying to work in Migi-kamae for the footwork? Or is everyone sneakily doing it in hidari? I won't blame you if you are. So what we'll do is we'll do this on hidari, left hand, hidari-kamae as well, just we're staying in practice. So now my left hand is forward, my right hand is back. So we're going to do Ayumiyashi, so crossing over, open, cross, open. Ayumiyashi, ato, cross, open, cross, open. Sugiashi, so bring in the back foot, Ukuriashi. Sugiashi mai, Sugiashi mai, and behind, Sugiashi ato, Sugiashi ato, Sugiashi ato, Ukuriashi mai, Ukuriashi mai, Ukuriashi mai, Ukuriashi ato, Ukuriashi ato, Ukuriashi ato, Ukuriashi ato. Going to change kamae. So we're going to bring our left foot back to meet our right, and bring our right hand in to our center. We're going to step forward with our right hand and our right foot. I'm going to turn around just so you're seeing this on the other side again. This is back to Migi-kamae, right hand and right foot forward. Ayumiyashi mai, ich, ni, san, shi. Ayumiyashi ato, ich, ni, san, shi. Sugiashi mai, Sugiashi mai, Sugiashi ato, Sugiashi ato, Ukuriashi mai, Ukuriashi mai, Ukuriashi ato, Ukuriashi ato. I'm going to just face forward now. So again, my right hand and right foot are forward. We're going to do harakiashi, which is that circling step. So for harakiashi, hidari, left, we're going to step with our left foot first and then bring our right foot. So we're starting to turn in a circle. So if we start here, harakiashi, hidari ni haraki, the left foot steps first, haraki ni hidari. Sorry, I'm putting that wrong one. Hidari ni haraki, hidari ni haraki. If you go migi, we're going to step with the right foot first and then bring our back leg with us. So migi ni haraki, migi ni haraki, migi ni haraki, migi ni haraki. So technically you can use this just to pretty much go in a circle around yourself if you need to. So if you're circling your opponent, it's quite a useful step because it does take you off the line. So again, if we do that in hidari chudon, so left hand forward, right hand at the back. So in this case, when I talk about hidari and migi, we're talking about the direction the body is going. So migi, my right hand, migi ni haraki, we go to the right, migi ni haraki, migi ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki, we're going towards our left. Hidari ni haraki, hidari ni haraki, hidari ni haraki. Anyone have any questions on any of the footwork so far? I know we've kind of rushed through, but it's just good to kind of get your brain thinking about working on both sides. No commentary? Okay, so let's have a look at Furiagate. We'll start with doing it in haraki, hidari-kamae, just so that it can refresh before we move it over into Migi-kamae. So again, we're going to start with the right hand behind, left hand in front. So as a refresher, Furiagate men, we step through with the right foot and the right hand, and we step through with the left hand and left foot, come down to a men cut. Remembering that as you come down from overhead, the front hand is going to slide to create your correct height, your head height. So again, if I start here, right hand at the back, left foot, left hand at the front. Furiagate meno ute, right hand and right foot, left hand, left foot. And Sugiashi back. Furiagate meno ute, forward, left hand. Sugiashi. Furiagate meno ute, men. Furiagate meno ute, men. We'll do Furiagate snei. So remembering the difference between men and snei. So men is up here. So right hand is at the center of your body, kind of round just below the belly button. Left hand is up here and above your black tape. And our body and our legs are upright. The snei, that front foot will extend a little bit further. It'll kneel forward, so both knee and toe pointing towards your opponent. Your right hand is going to come up to your sternum, and your left hand is going to drop down round about where your hand started for Chuda. So this will get you that distance and position for Furiagate snei. So again, if we start from Chuda no kamae, Furiagate snei ute, right hand and right foot, left hand kneels forward, and you let the left hand slide over the Naginata until it drops to the correct height. And you can see my back hand is here at the bottom of my rib cage. Sugiashi. Furiagate snei ute, right hand and right foot, left hand, left foot. Sugiashi. Furiagate snei ute, snei. Sugiashi. Furiagate snei ute, snei. Sugiashi. Last one. Furiagate snei ute, snei. Sugiashi. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about Furiagate men or Furiagate snei before we try it on the other side?
Emily, just with the snare, do I have to angle the blade on Sayu men when I come down, or is it dead straight?
So for Furiagate men, it's straight down. You're aiming to go straight down the center of the head here.
Right.
When we're doing things like hasso men, that'll come off to the side of the head. But for Furiagate, you're aiming for the center of your partner's head. So you're trying to keep it as vertical as possible. That's a good question. When you're doing Furiagate snei, however, because that's on the side of the body, there will be a slight angle. So for Furiagate men, I'm trying to keep it very vertical, very straight down the center. For Furiagate snei, I'm actually going to be trying to hit their front leg. So Furiagate, there's a slight angle to the snei cut, but it's only maybe just off to the side of the body. And it's really just so you're getting clearance around their shoulders, their hips, their arms, maybe their weapon as well, depending on where they pitched it. So there's a mild angle for Furiagate snei, but it's not a really deep angle. So hasso snei has a similar angle to that as well. Kind of makes sense?
Hey, thanks for that.
That's right. Okay, so let's try it on the other side. So again, if we're starting in Chuda no kamae, this is my left hand, my right hand's at the back. We're going to step back, bring our left foot back, bring our right hand up. Our right hand and our right foot are going to go forward. So left hand here, right hand at the front. We're going to do Furiagate men, and this is probably going to feel awkward if you haven't done it on this side. So now the left hand and the left foot are going to come forward through, and now your right hand is going to have to slide as you step through for men. So again, don't worry if this feels very, very awkward. Furiagate men ute, left foot, left hand, right foot. Sugiashi. Furiagate men ute, left hand, left foot, right hand, right foot. Furiagate men ute, left hand, left foot, right hand, right foot. Sugiashi. Furiagate men ute, men. Furiagate men ute, men. Furiagate, men or ute, men. So through all of this, your backhand is basically never moving off the naginata. That position it started at stays there that entire time. You don't let that move. The only hand that's moving is the front hand, forwards or up or down the naginata, depending on the height you're after. And you do want this one to move. You don't want it to stay in that position. Otherwise, your men positions and your snare positions are going to be very awkward. So do that again. Furiagate, men. Men. So again, my right hand is slid up from its starting position to create the men position, and it slides back as I come back into chudan. Furiagate, men or ute, and stay where they are. Right hand moves, and now as I go back, Uchikaishi back, my right hand is going to come back down into chudan. Furiagate, men or ute, men, Uchikaishi. Okay, we're going to try Furiagate snake. And then after that, I'll come back and ask if you've got any questions or problems or issues, and we can work those out too. So again, same process as on the other side. We step forward the left hand and left foot. This time the right knee is going to extend a little bit further and kneel. Now our left hand is up by our sternum, and our right hand is probably just a little bit behind where it started. Uchikaishi. Furiagate, men or ute, left hand, left foot, and kneel. Uchikaishi. Furiagate, snare or ute, snare. Uchikaishi. And again, you'll notice I'm still keeping my body in the correct position. So if I'm facing towards you, my body is over to the side of the camera. I step through, left hand, left foot. My body is facing you or my opponent. And as I step through for the final cut, snare, my body is back against the wall. I'm just looking at you with my head. And Uchikaishi. Furiagate, snare or ute, snare. Furiagate, snare or ute, snare. Last one. Furiagate, snare or ute, snare. Okay. So, how are we going? How are we finding it? Awkward, weird, not working for you? Okay.
Awkward for me, but it's all coming back.
Good. All right. So it is a bit weird when you start changing sides. It makes a bit more sense when we're doing it in person because I can correct things. But at the moment, your bodies are getting used to the motions that are happening. Everything after that can be corrected in a face-to-face session, which, hopefully we get to do one of these days. So having done those, if you're all feeling fairly comfortable, grab a quick drink. What we're going to go through is Uchikaishi. So this was the pattern set that I was teaching the last couple of weeks, which consists of Furiagate men, hustle men, hustle men, hustle snare, Sugiyashi, plus the blocks. So for these ones, I will actually use the mop just so you get a better visual of where the blade, the Naginata, is. So just to refresh on Uchikaishi. So going back into hidari chudan, so left hand forward, right hand back. You won't worry about swapping everything over at the moment. So we start with Furiagate men. Men. We then go into hustle men. So straight from here, we bring our right hand up to meet our left hand, and then that back hand up to meet our ear. So our front hand is on our hip. This kind of position we're after. We're going to go for hustle men, sofu men. We're going to step through with the right foot and bring our left hand into our sternum. Men. Hands together at the center. Back hand to the ear. Right hand is going to come into the chest. Men. Move back a bit. So we're up here. Same thing for snare. Bring our hands to the center. Back hand to the ear. We're going to do hustle snare. Snare. Hands to the center. Hands to the ear. Hustle snare. Snare. And then we do Sugiyashi, bringing our weapon back into Shura-no-kamae. Okay, so run through that again. I'll do it from the side so you can see the side version as well. So left hand forward. Furiagate men. Each men. Hands to the center. The sofu men. Hands to the ear. Men. hands to the center, hands to the ear for sokumen. Men, hands to the center, hands to the ear for hustle snare. Hands to the center, hands to the ear, hustle snare. And then sugiyashi. Okay. I'll grab longer weapon so you can see that as well. We'll do that once more and then I'll just check how you're all going with that. So, right hand and right foot come through for Furiagate men. Men. Hands to the center and back hand to the ear. Hustle men. Men. Hands to the center, back hand to the ear. Hustle men. Men. Hands to the center, back hand to the ear. Hustle snare. Hands to the center, hands to the ear. Hustle snare. And sugiyashi. Good. All right. Is that starting to come back in people's minds a little bit? Yeah, I can see you working on your change over there, Ruben. That's good. How are people finding the actual pattern? Even if you don't have all of it in line or you need a bit of a memory recharge, is it starting to come together a little bit for you? Okay, I'm going to take that as yes. I'll move back to broom again because then you can see this a bit easier sometimes from the forward angle. So if I'm doing it from here for you, if we go Furiagate men, so bring it the right hand, right foot forward, men cut, hands to the center, back hand to the ear, men cut, hands to the center, hands to the ear, men cut, hands to the center, hands to the ear, snake cut, hands to the center, hands to the ear, snake, sugiyashi. So no questions, everyone's very, very comfortable with that at this point? Nothing on positions or we're just all pretty happy? I never thought I could actually teach people to do Uchikaishi on Zoom, so I'm impressed with you all. Okay, so let's have a look at the blocking technique. And again, this is something that's easy for me to show you with in Naginata in this instance, just because you can see what it's meant to be doing. So again, left hand at the front, so we're in hidari chudan. They're going to do Furiagate men to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to do kurikomi. And kurikomi, if you recall, is we're pulling our blade closer to us. And we do that by using our backhand. So that's the direction we want to go. So the hand that's close to that direction is going to throw the weapon behind us. And we just loosen both of our hands to Naginata and slide up. We end up grasping near the sendan maki. So I'll refer to this as a sendan maki block a lot of the time. And you can see my mono itch is pretty much the side of my head. So that when they come for the men cut, I step back and I block where my head was. So you do that as one motion like that. So you step back with the right foot, you throw with the right hand. So, and there you have sendan maki block. So you're blocking men. The next four, all you're really doing with your feet is you're turning your body 180 degrees. So I start here, and then I'm going to be turning, so I'm facing the other way. I'm going to step back and turn the other way, turn and face the other way, turn and face the other way. So we're just turning 180 degrees with our body. What happens with our hands is a bit more complex, as you might recall. So we do our first block. We need to block our head again, but in order to do that, we're going to block with the opposite end of the weapon. So as we step around with our left foot, we bring the weapon down and up. So just to clarify, the back end of the weapon is going to sweep beside our right leg as we step behind with our left leg and come up. So you're making that nice long arc. Okay? That's the first block. Oh, second block rather. So sendan maki block, men block. We're going to block men, so we're going to step back with the right foot. And this part of the weapon, the butt of the weapon, is going to come down towards our right foot. So that the habu is at the top this time. So this is now blocking. So do those three again. Chudan, sendan maki, sweep the ebu up, down by your leg and up. Step back and sweep your ebu down by your leg and into position. Okay, so those first three, just run through them again. Chudan, step back to sendan maki, sweep the ebu to your leg, sweep the ebu to your leg. That's the first three. The next two, we're blocking against our leg. And again, we're changing which side of the weapon is blocking. The first block we blocked with the half. Second block we blocked with the e. Third block we blocked with the half. We're going to block with the e, the ebu again. So we step back to the left foot. The ebu again sweeps past your leg, and you push it out slightly. So this backhand can go push from up here down towards your chest, and that gives you some extra distance to block with. So run through that again. Shura, Sendan Maki block. E sweeps up. E sweeps down. Now this fourth one, E sweeps to the base. Okay. Let's go some water because I'm about to have a choking fit in the dust out here. All right, we'll work that one again. So, Sendan Maki block. E sweeps to your leg and up. E sweeps to your leg. E sweeps to your leg. So for the fifth block, this one's a little trickier. Again, it is going to be the same kind of sweep motion. We now need to get this blade that's up here down to block our leg. So from up here, it has to block down. This time we bring it, again, the air sweeps past the leg, but you have to do a much longer rotation. And as you do the rotation, you're actually turning the weapon so that the blade ends up facing up. So it was blocking up here, and then, sorry, you can see the curve here. I have to turn the blade so it finishes the block that way. Obviously, it's going to make less sense if you're using a mop at this point, but this is, sorry, the motorcycle hopefully can still hear me. This is just to show you what the intent would be. So again, if we go from Chudan, I'd step back and block Sendan Maki. I'd turn 180 degrees, sweeping the air up to block net. I turn 180 degrees, sweeping the air down, block net. I step 180 degrees and sweep this air down across the floor and out. I turn 180 degrees. And as I do this one, I'm going to pull my left hand, my back hand up, so the weapon's up a little bit more. As I turn around, bring it against my body, I then extend and rotate it down. So that fifth one is actually the hardest of the lot. It's the one that people get most confused about because it's a lot harder to adjust to. So, then Chudan, Sendan Maki, turn and bring it up, turn and bring the heart up, turn. So this time as we block with the air, we're going to push down from our left hand, so push down so it blocks a bit further out to the leg. As we turn this time, I'm going to face the other way so you can see. I'm going to pull the weapon up through my right hand, but as I turn, I have more distance blocking my leg that way. And this is one of the reasons I have to show you using this. It's a lot harder to see with the mop what you're trying to do. So you always need to know where your blade is and the angle it's at. But again, when you don't have a blade, it's a lot harder to do. So I'll try it with the mop, so I'm having the same problems you all are. Hidari-kamae. Step back and block Sendan Maki. Going to step back and block with the handle. I'm going to step back and block with the mop or the broom head. I'm going to step back and block my leg with the handle. I'm going to step back and block my leg. So the broom head comes over the top of my head and down to block my leg. So don't worry again if that fifth one is a little bit awkward. It is very hard to do on Zoom. So hopefully I'm just giving you enough of an idea of how this works. So from Chudan, I block with the broom. For Hasso Men, for the first one, I block with the handle. For the second Hasso Men, I turn and block with the broom. I'm now going to block two leg blocks. So step back, block with the handle. And now I need to bring the broom handle, so the broom top all the way over my head and down to block my leg. Okay. Questions, problems, thoughts?
I feel like I'm in a canoe.
It's not dissimilar. Naginata is very much about that water wheel. You know, you're using the power of this long weapon by rotating it. and you're using yourself as the fulcrum at the center to rotate it around. So that's not a bad analogy, really. You know, let's go canoeing. It's not too dissimilar in concept. And the idea about that is, again, you're keeping your center, the center of the canoe paddle. So yes, bring it over, bring it over, bring it over. I actually really like that analogy. I'm going to steal that in future. Thanks, Ruben. Yeah, if you keep that in mind,
Send me the money.
no problem. But
Free.
yeah, sometimes you just need to find an analogy in your head that works for a technique. And it's not going to be the same as anyone else. But bearing it in mind can help you sometimes explain it to someone else. So the analogy, canoe analogy, I am going to call it analogy now, is very apt for this particular set. It's very much about the weapon rotating and rotating and rotating and rotating around the body. So yeah, if that helps you get the sense of it, that's fine. How about the rest of you? How are you handling the blocks? Mostly okay? No one wants to admit to anything?
I think I just need some practice on it, that's all.
That's okay. And again, this is easier when you're in person. So what we can do is we can take turns, as it were. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to, since you've just done the blocks, I'm going to get you to continue doing the blocks, and I'm going to make the attacks so you can see what you should be blocking. And again, don't worry if you end up blocking with the wrong side, as long as you're blocking. That's mostly about it. So just to make sure you're turning 180 degrees each time. I don't really mind which end of your weapon you're using, as long as you end up with something blocking that height. So don't stress too much. Oops, Kaylin's coming in. I'll just come in there. All right. So we're going to start with Uchikaishi. I'll make the attack. So we're both in shooter. You're going to do send and maki block. So I'm stepping forward. If you do your send and maki block, you're blocking your head. I'm going to go into hustle to start to turn 180 degrees. Turn your weapon so you're blocking with the other end at your head. Met. Turn 180 degrees and block with the other side of the weapon. Met. Turn 180 degrees and block your leg with the other side of the weapon. Snap. Turn 180 degrees and block with the other side of your weapon. Snare. I'll Furiagate backwards and wear it back at shooter. So give yourself a bit of room. We'll do that again. Again, we'll keep it fairly slow. So you're going to step back with the send down maki block and block command. So step back and block command. Turn 180 degrees and block men with the other end. Turn 180 degrees and block your men with the other end. Turn 180 degrees and block your leg with the other end. Turn 180 degrees and block your leg with the other end. Do that one more time. I'll give less explanation. So, Furiagate men, you're going to step back and block men. Men. You're going to turn and block men. Men. You're going to turn and block men. Men. You're going to turn and block snare. Snare. You're going to turn and block snare. Snare. Good. How did we go? Do you kind of feel like you're blocking for these?
Just when I do that last one, I forget to do the wrist thing on this side.
That's
I
okay.
end up doing it like this.
Yeah. And yeah, you should feel fairly comfortable in position. So sometimes it's about just letting your wrists relax into the most comfortable position, and you'll find it'll actually happen to a natural rotation. Again, it's harder because you don't have a Naginata to show you the block. Yeah. Don't stress. As long as you're turning and you're blocking, that's a good start for a Zoom class. Effie, was there something you were about to say as well? Or anyone else?
Just that last position, that last block.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure my hands are at the finish.
Okay. Yeah, that last block is a lot harder than the others. So we've done send and maki, men, men, snake. With this last one, you actually want to pull the blade up past your shoulder, past head, and then it'll come over your head. Now the tricky thing is, as you're turning, what you actually need to do is turn your right wrist or your back wrist up. So we're coming into what's called a classic gedan position, which again is much easier if you can see it here. So this is where you're holding against your body. You have your elbow in a fairly soft position. Your front arm's quite relaxed. You're just putting the weapon back here, and it's blocking your leg. But it is very hard because you're coming from a very different position to begin with. So man, snake. You're coming from here, and to do that, you need to pull it up, and then you need to rotate your wrists as you step backwards. So as I step, I bring it over, rotate my wrists around the weapon, rotate the weapon around, and then bring it down. So don't stress too much. Again, when you're using something that isn't a naginata, it's very hard to replicate some of these motions. But if you're here, think about trying to bring your left hand down. So there is a kind of a roll the wrist over the top motion. So from here, I want to roll my left wrist over the top of my weapon as I turn my right arm up to my shoulder. That's quite a lot of things to do in one move. So from here, I'm going to start turning this up towards my shoulder with my right hand, and my left hand is coming over the body to sit on top of the weapon. And unfortunately, there is really no easy way to display this without having you face to face. So don't stress too much, but if you think about getting that right hand up, that back hand up here, into this kind of position, that's where you're trying to get. And it is hard because it's starting down here. All you need to really do is to turn up that way. So a bit like, trying to think, a bit basically like a lever. It's coming from down here by your hip, and it's just rotating via the elbow up to your shoulder. That's what that backhand is for. This hand is going from here down. So it's going from underneath the weapon to on top of the weapon. But it's doing it as you come over. So this backhand is going over on top of the weapon. Yeah, it's a lot of concepts to try and do on Zoom. So again, don't stress too much about that, or any of you for that matter. Okay. All right. Okay. So we've got about 10 minutes left. Now, I was going to go over chapter 1 and chapter 2 again, but I think for a little bit different, because a lot of you have been here for quite a few weeks, why don't we try a new type of cut? And this is one I wouldn't normally teach you until the end of your beginner's course, because it is a little bit more complicated, but it's a lot of fun when you get it right. It's called furikaeshi. And for anyone who's ever done furikaeshi, it can be a bit of a mind mess to begin with. So I'll demonstrate with the Naginata first so you can see how it looks with the weapon. So furikaeshi, start in Shudan, and we can either stay on the spot, we can move forwards or backwards, but it's basically a water wheel movement. So it allows us to change sides of the body. We can also do it to snake as well as men. This is kind of like tussle plus. We're changing sides of the body, we're changing our attacks. It's a very, very nice movement, but it does take a bit of coordination. So to help with that, and so I can understand the problems you might go through, back to the broom for me. So left hand forward, right hand at the back. Got my broom handle, which is actually going to help a little bit here because the weight will push it where we want it to go. What's going to happen here is I'm trying to bring this broom handle or broom head behind my leg. I want it to drop behind my leg and then come over the top of my body. And that sounds very weird, but the weight, because you're probably using something that has a bit of weight here, will actually help you more than if you're using a real Naginata point. So, facing you, left hand forward. What I want to do with my feet is I'm going to step back with my left foot back to my right foot, and then my right foot forward. So this is Furikaeshi, which we talked about last week. So starting here, step back, and right foot forward. And go the other way, so right foot back, left foot forward. And this is what's helping us turn that 180 degrees. That's all our body and our legs is doing. This is where it gets complicated. So as the left foot goes back, and probably easier for you if I actually let you see what my legs are doing rather than my hidari-kamae. So from here, as my left foot steps back, I'm going to let my left hand bring my mop head down towards my left leg, okay? But as I do that, my right hand is starting to reach in to my left hand. So step back, and then think about bringing it up over the top of your head. And now your left hand is going to slide forward on the Naginata as you step through on the right. So at that point, it becomes a bit more like Furiagate. Come back to Churan. So left hand, left foot forward. I'm going to let my weapon drop down behind me. So bring my right hand in. Weapon comes over the top. Left hand comes through for a Furiagate style. Okay. There's a lot more refinement than that, because what we're really trying to do is not just drop it down there, but as we're doing that movement, we're actually bringing our arms over our head, come down and then. So again, if I use the Naginata, it goes a little bit here, bring it down and through, bring it centered, and so blade, this is the heavy area, is dropping down behind my leg, and step through. Step behind, hands together, and step through. Step behind, hands over the head, front, left hand. So I'm going to start back in hidari-kamae, and I'm going to try and talk about which hand's doing what. And I apologize if it gets a bit confusing. So left hand and left foot to the front. Left foot is going to step back. Both hands are going to come over your head. Right hand and right foot are going to come forward. Now we're going to go, weapon goes behind our right leg. Our hands are coming over our head. And now we're going to bring the right hand along as we step with the left foot forward. Weapon goes behind our left leg. Right hand comes to the left at center. Left hand comes forward, right foot. Left hand reaches to the right as we step back. Right hand comes forward on the Naginata, or down on the Naginata. I'll move to the mop so you can see a little bit more cleanly. Okay, starting again, left hand forward. Broom head goes behind, right hand meets left over the top of my head. Left hand moves down the Naginata as I step to the right. Broom handle is going to go behind my right leg. Left hand is going to meet my right hand at the center. Right hand is going to slide down the Naginata as I step forward on the left. Broom head is going to go behind my left leg. So broom to the left, right hand to the left hand. Left hand slides down, right hand steps. Broom head goes behind you. Left hand comes to right hand. Right hand slides down the Naginata as you step forward on the left. Do we have any questions? Where is it going wrong? Where are the sticking points? Or is it just confusing?
My issue is just space restrictions. I've just got a light bulb above me, so that's...
It's awkward, yeah.
Yep.
There's a reason I'm practicing this outside. So yeah, furikaeshi can be difficult in a space-related instant, which is why I'm not doing this indoors. So don't stress if you can't do the motion. You can do it with just your hands as well. So, and sometimes it's a bit easier. So left hand forward, right hand back. Let's bring the left foot forward. We're thinking about bringing the hands together. And now left hand will come down to your thigh. Hands will come together over your head. Right hand will come down to your thigh. So basically it's just coming up, and that one comes down to your thigh. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Obviously the weapon makes it a bit hard.
That's actually heaps easier in my case.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is if you just have something that's a little too long to work in your space, this is going to be an awkward one. So how about the rest of you? Any thoughts, any issues I might be able to assist with? Or concepts? So furikaeshi is not an easy one to get right. It's very much about the hips rotating at the same time. It's about getting your hands and body in the right position at every single point. So this is not one that's necessarily going to be easy to get on. Obviously a little bit in the space. But even if I'm using a broom handle, what it should be looking like is very much over and forward. Over and forward. Over and over. So my hands are always meeting at the center, and then the other hand is coming back to the tape. So white tape, black tape. My hands are coming towards the black tape. Front hand is coming towards the white. So you always have them meeting at the tape or going to the tape. Meeting the tape, at the tape. Meeting the tape, move to the tape. So yeah, this one's an awkward one, as I said, to learn on Zoom, but I figured I'd give you a little bit of a challenge for next time, because I think we're going to be here next week. Does anyone have any thoughts, questions, comments, issues, requests? Alrighty. Okay. What we'll do is something that we normally do at the end of a more traditional session, which is kind of going through our basics again. So normally at the start of a class, we go through our basic footwork, our basic cuts. And at the end of the class, we do the same thing, kind of a bit of a warm down. It just depends on how we want to run the class. This is a good way just to consolidate what you've learned. So again, don't worry if not everything's right or perfect. That's not the point. It's more about just getting your body used to it. So we're going to start in hidari-kamae, left hand forward, left leg forward. We're going to do Ayumiyashi, mai, ich, ni, san, shi. Ayumiyashi ato, ich, ni, san, shi. Furiageate, mai. Furiageate, mai. Furiageate, mai. Furiageate ato. Furiageate ato. Furiageate ato. Sugiashi mai. Sugiashi mai. Sugiashi mai. Sugiashi ato. Sugiashi ato. Sugiashi ato. Hirakiashi, Migi to the right. Hirakiashi, Migi. Hirakiashi, Migi. Left. Hidari ni hiraki. Hidari ni hiraki. Hidari ni hiraki. Going to men cut. So, Furiagate, men o ute. Men. Sugiashi. Furiagate, men o ute. Men. Sugiashi. If you remember from last week, we'll just try some hasamen. If you don't recall, don't stress, just do Furiagate men. Hasanokamae, so hands together, back hand to the ear. Men o ute, men. Sugiashi back. Sokomen, hands together, back hand to the ear. Men. Sugiashi. We're going to do 2 in a row. This is Sayumen. So hands to the center, hand to the ear. Men. Hands to the center, hands to the ear. Men. Sugiashi. If you want to give it a go, otherwise stick with Furiagate men, we're going to do furikaeshi. So furikaeshi, men o ute, hands together over the top. Furikaeshi, men o ute. The last thing we're going to do is jogoburi, which we did go through, I think it was last week, which which is more about breathing. This is a much bigger version of Furiagate. We bring both feet together as we step up. As we come back, we bend both knees, and the motion stops when our front hand meets our front leg. So we're bent, back hands come back here, this one stops here. So breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. So the feet are coming together at the front, the knees, the thighs, toes together. Breathe in. We're going to stop off the next one. Last one, Yame. Come back to Chuda. All right. So if you can remember, we're going to go into Naure. So we bring our left foot back and slide our right hand up. Meet our left hand. Left hand comes behind our leg, next to our leg. Rip. Keeping our eyes on each other. Arigatou gozaimashita.
ありがとうございました。
So that's just giving you a little bit more, some of the more formalities that you would end up with at the normal class. But again, with Zoom, I'm not going to worry about it too much. If you don't have any questions or thoughts, feedback, anything.
Oh, thanks, Em. It's really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Nice to see you back. Come join our Jukendo sessions too.
Yeah. Yeah, you can come along if you. I'll let you know if you ever want to. But yeah.
And,
But it's good to catch up.
No, it's good to see you. How about the rest of you? How are you doing?
It was really good. I learned a lot. Sorry.
Oh, good. No, it's always hard with Zoom because you end up talking over each other. But no, I'm glad you felt like you got something out of it. Hopefully it's consolidated some of the basics that we've done over the previous weeks. And Furiagate, furikaeshi, at least it gives you something new to try out. If you can get outdoors with your broom handle, to give that a bit of a shot too. So I haven't decided quite what to work on next week. I'll have a bit of a think about it. But if we are doing another online class, I'll try and mix it up a little bit for you. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a brand new class rather than just 1 and 2. So we'll see how we go. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me. I know it's difficult under the circumstances, but and hello to your little cat there.
That's Gigi from Kiki's
Gigi.
Delivery Service.
I couldn't remember the name, but I did recognize it.
Very clever, very clever.
I just
Thanks,
started
Kelly.
recording now, so there we go. Yeah.